sisters. And you can call us. We shall open the telephone lines. And I think the number will bring, there's the number. The number is on the screen at the moment, and it is 665-6278. And we shall welcome your calls. Ms. Summers and I are here to share with you your own views and share with you our views. So thanks for listening. And may I ask you, there's a question you mustn't ask ladies, I know that, but may I ask you, how old are you?
I'm 22 years.
22? And you've done so much.
Yes, sir. Through the guidance and assistance of one of my good friends, I should say, Mr. Sherlin Gibbs, who really supported me and took away the issue and look at the individual myself. And that is something that I believe that adults supposed to do. Take away the past, forget the past of a young person and look at the individual, because when you focus on the individual, you realize we have so much to offer and so much to learn and so much to grow.
Okay, again, you may phone us if you wish, and the number is 665-6278, 665-6278. Why did you do a book on Akil
Chambers?
It's
because I know how it feels like. I know what a victim feel like, and because of this, I did extensive research about not just Akil Chambers, because the focus is not just Akil Chambers, the focus is child abuse. The focus is that we look at not just the issue of child abuse, but we look at the individual. We try to fix the individual and mold them and grow them and develop them, like what my father did for me, Dr. Wallace Williams, that he took time to understand who I am, to know who I am, forgetting the past, forgetting all the pain and tribulation, and focusing on growing and developing me into who I am today. So the main thing what I do is promote young people and try to develop them in a way that they can be anything despite of their past.
Well, whoever did it did a very good job of molding you. You do very well. I am very interested in what you have told me about this feeling of alienation, that youth don't feel as they belong to the society, as though people care for them and so on.
Yes, because every time we try to do something, we are shut down. We are shut down when we decide to speak the truth. When we decide to stand up for what we believe in, we are alienated because we are not accepted. Because if you do not consult in us or believe in us, you cannot accept us. It comes like you denying who we are. It comes like you are the slave master and we are the slave, and we have to obey everything you say without you giving us an ear to even listen. For example, look at what happened to the two people in presentation, the Form 2 and the Form 3, with the bullying. He spoke to his teacher, they ignored him, the principal, everyone didn't listen. And because he retaliated in the form of violence, and we now see that we think that young people are violent and in drugs and crime, but it's not because they want to. It's because when they try to speak out, no one takes them serious. So they do anything to show that they want to be heard.
Well, then what we are proposing is the absolutely right thing. They will be in the corridors of power. They will be inside the parliament where they can speak and no one can ignore them.
Exactly, because they will be empowered, and that's what we want. Empowerment. Partnership and empowerment.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. That is it. It's empowerment. The youth is alienated because they have been disempowered, if I may use a term like that.
Perfect term, because you see, if you continue, it's just like with child abuse, right? You put a child in a home or domestic violence, you put the person who's been victimized in a half house or a child home. You treat them like second-class citizens because you look at the issue that they are victims and not the individual. They are recognized as second-class citizens, and nobody really takes them seriously. So you're not empowering them, and if you're not empowering them, you are not helping them. You are creating dependency and not empowerment. So then they go back into the same situation because they do not know how to come out, because they wasn't taught how to be empowered.
That is an extremely incisive statement. It is the feeling of not having any power to do anything.
Precisely correct. So you give us education, but if there is no next step, then what is the purpose of the education in which you give us?
Sure.
If we cannot be empowered with the same education that you claim and you boast that you're doing for young people, and we cannot be empowered, what's the sense and what's the purpose?
But if you are in parliament, you're in parliament, you have a voice and you can say, listen, you are training us, but are you training us for jobs, or are you training us to go and walk on the streets? And if you are training us for jobs, where is your economic program to create those jobs?
Precisely
Where are
correct.
the investments coming from?
Precisely correct.
You become part of the decision-making process.
Precisely correct.
Believe, I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel.
Because
that is why I have been taking the approach I'm taking.
Yes, because soon to be Prime Minister, sir. I believe that there's so many corruption taking place within the parliament that they will fight this idea because they don't want society to know the truth. That's why young people are being shut down, because when we decide to speak out against the corruption that we see take place daily after, the same people who speak about they want to mentor need mentorship. The same people that speak about they want to lead need somebody to lead them. The same people that speak about integrity have no integrity. So what are you really telling the young people? Who do we have as leaders that are actually doing something for us except in yourself? And this is what we talk about. There's a lack of mentors and true mentors, because we don't want people to use and abuse us for their political gain and self-enhancement, but we want you to do something for us that we can partner. We don't want something, we want to partner because we have something to offer too.
You mentioned a very important point, and that is the whole dependency syndrome that has been created in the society, where they believe that young people are like animals. You just throw some crumbs for them,
Exactly.
keep throwing crumbs and keep them in a dependency syndrome, and never give them an opportunity to rise and be masters of themselves.
Exactly, and the more you continue this, the more society continues saying that you're not to be seen and not heard, and what happened in the house stays in the household. The more we continue to do this, is the more you will see child abuse, the more you will see crime, drugs, and all these things. It's because we're not giving them an opportunity to truly be heard, because it's not just about going on a platform or going on TV and saying something. It's what happened next.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Otherwise, you'll be like a voice in the wilderness.
Precisely correct.
Speaking to the desert sun.
Precisely correct.
Where lots of promises are made. Every time there's an election, you notice,
Yes.
lots of promises are being made. But as soon as the elections are over,
It's over.
and they have used the youths in order to get into to office,
And so
the promises are over.
So I see that as psychological abuse, because
Psychological abuse.
you play with the minds of people, promising them, and would not, intentionally you're not going to deliver. So you psychologically abuse them without they even knowing they are being abused.
So that if you were part of the political decision-making process, they cannot do that to you.
No, they cannot, because we have the say.
That's
we
right.
are in there.
That's right.
We are not being fed what they say, but we have something to offer also.
Sure. I think maybe we should take a little break now.
No problem.
And we'll come back. And I think this conversation is going very well indeed. I'm very happy about it. Thanks.
Okay.
Welcome back, and may I remind you that the lines are open, and if you wish to call us on the line, the number is 665-6278. Lauren, may I call you Lauren?
Yeah, sure.
It is the reputation that has been spread about youth is that they don't care about anything, and all they like is fat and new shoes and new clothes, all kind of thing. I want you to comment on that. This program is yours, and I want you to speak to the youths.
That is something that I always smile about, because we look to see the minority of young people who do negative, and we pay no attention to the ones who doing great things, because the media portrays negativity. They portray a young person killing and shooting on the front page, but a young person who achieved, and I'm not talking about Keyshawn Walcott or superstars, I'm talking about the normal young person who do normal things, or who do great things, community service, these things, they are not recognized. So if you just see the negative things and portray it, then you have a negative approach about young people. But young people have so much thing to offer. But if you're not listening, how would you know? If you're not portraying the positive light, how would you know?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. What can we do about it? Okay, we have the media. You know, if you say anything against them, they're going to jump on your back. Eh? I've had no run-ins with them myself. But I only had a run-in with them because I simply argued that the media did not have an untrammeled right to publish lies, half-truths, and innuendos. I got in serious trouble for that, but that's beside the point. Now, I have argued that the media is there not to serve you or anybody else, but to serve themselves. They are there in order to make money.
That's true.
And they make money by publishing the things people want to hear. And Trinidadians is a very commercy, rumor-mongering society.
An unforgiving society.
And unforgiving too?
Yes, very unforgiving, because
really?
if they truly was forgiven, then they would forgive young people of the wrong that they do, of the crime that they commit, and they will stop look at the issues and look at the individual themselves. Yeah. But you can do 99.9% good and 0.1% wrong.
And they publish that.
And they publish that, and they promote that, and your whole name and legacy is staying forever.
And as I say, they do that because they are there to make money, and they believe that that is what people will read. Okay, I want to follow up that with a suggestion from me. What do you think can be done to remedy that? How do we remedy a situation like that, where the good things that the young people do is exposed?
Well,
this program is one, isn't it?
Fantastic program, because the young people voice are being heard on this program, which is excellent, and we really hope that it's not just on the program, but in back work and background.
What can we do?
What we can do, as we said earlier on, the mentoring, the empowerment, give youth a chances working to have a newspaper for young people.
That's a great idea.
Only for young people, where we promote the positive side, the achievement, the issues that we face, everything in a holistic aspect, so young people can go and read it, can see everything, where we show the normal young person who achieve things also, not just the hierarchy, because what we realize is that people look at the finished product rather than building the product.
Okay.
You understand, sir?
Okay, yeah, sure.
And you must build the product. You must start from the bottom and grow the product, because we look for finished products without understanding how the product reached there in the first place.
Okay, like our great sportsmen, for example, who make the top. Nobody remembers how they came.
And with Keyshawn Walker, mind you,
Keyshawn, he comes from Tokos.
Right,
Toko.
but mind you that this government, the Ministry of Sports, they didn't pay him much attention before, but because he won gold medal, they carried him around for political mileage.
Using him.
And now you don't really hear they promote him anymore. So you see that young people are being used for political gain and self-enhancement. We are not to be used and abused, and this is what we speak about, that they do not respect and value us. Because if you truly respect and value us, you will listen to us in the first place. And if you cannot listen to us, it means that we are just your slaves. Sorry to say, but this is the truth.
No, I am very thrilled to hear you speak, and you're quite right. So few people in the society know that there are young people who are so intensely eager
to be given a chance
to determine their own development.
For truth, to be grown and groomed correctly, because that's what we want, to be grown and groomed correctly, not to be in a household where people say that they care, and then you see that they psychologically abuse you, or sexually or physically or anyhow, to get what they want from you, and then drop you like hot bread. That's what the government do. And adults do. Plenty adults. If I ask today, how many adults in Trinidad and Tobago take up one young person from anywhere in the nation, and give them a chance in your household? Mr. soon-to-be Prime Minister, there wouldn't be a lot of adults who do that, because we live in a selfish society where they even teach it in your secondary, primary and tertiary school that you must work, save up, get an education to take care of your family. It's no longer a community, take care of a child. It's all about selfishness. That is that family business, not mine, so I could care less. And this is the mentality that we have as a people. No more love, no more purity in heart to help each other, because we always thinking about money and selfishness.
Become a very materialistic society.
Perfect. Well said, sir. So then, who, as we said earlier on, who are our role models? When you see, sorry to say, but political leaders in corruption, taking finance that is not due to them, treating the society who we put them there. So they're supposed to serve us, but instead we serving them, and everything is upside down, flip around, and it have a tendency that young people and a lot of us do not know our rights. And if we know our rights and our true value, we wouldn't exchange ourselves, which is worth far more than this world could offer us. We wouldn't exchange it for cents and dollars. We would know who we are and what we stand for. Therefore, no cents and dollars could compromise us. And that was what we want the adults to teach us. But if we don't see proper mentors, and the ones who go into secondary school, who talk about you're supposed to have integrity and give the young people the drugs and the crime, what integrity are you speaking about? Because a young person cannot go and buy 5 million worth in drugs just so. So it must have a hierarchies.
Sure.
So why are they not dealing with the hierarchies? Those are the people, because I have a conception where I believe that crime is the outcome. We must deal with the problems in order to deal with crime. And one of the problems is that we fail to listen to young people. We fail to empower.
What you're saying is that crime is the result of something.
Yes, it's the outcome. It's the end product. Something that has happened before. Yeah, it happened before, precisely correct. And if we deal with the problems that lead up to the crime, not the crime, because what the government do wrong is they deal with the outcome without dealing with the lead up to the outcome.
I believe that the government had commissioned a report under the chairmanship of Dr. Selvin Ryan, in which they said I think it cost over $1 million for that report. And I don't think they did anything about it.
No.
Listen, we have, I think, 1 minute again, so I'll tell you what I'll do. Since this is your time now, what advice would you like to give to the youths of this country?
I would like to say a poem to them, actually. I have a poem written.
Yeah, I have a poem written.
Yes, it's called Youths.
You wrote it?
Yes, I wrote
Please.
Youths. Youths, who are we? What do we stand for? Are we not golds and diamonds, rubies and pearls? Are our voices not as lions, tigers and eagles? Do we not stand out in the crowds? Do we not stand for truth and justice? Are we not beautiful and handsome among the creations of the earth? Are we not the present and future of this world? Do we not have many things and great and priceless things to offer? So then, why are we shut down? Why are we being used and abused, given little to no respect and value? Why are we in the categorized as negative when many of us are doing great things? How would our voices truly be heard when the society believe we should be seen and not heard? And the other quote, what happens in the house stays in the household. Have we ever critically analyzed those two above quotes? Do you see how it have kept us silent, promote child abuse, increase suicide and depression? You are the best thing God ever created. Go for your dreams. Fight for your dreams. Live your life to the best of you and create to all of your abilities. Mostly be the best you can be. Don't allow anyone or anything to hold you back. Believe in yourself 100%. Never stop believing in you and the Most High. Never stop believing in you.
Lauren, thank you very much. It's been an honor and a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much. Good evening, my sisters and brothers, and welcome once more to our program, It's Your Time Now, an exercise dedicated to the most important issue facing our country today, constitutional reform. The justification for labeling this program as the most important can be seen by looking at what is happening around us day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. We constantly complain of the massive corruption engulfing the society, the spiraling crime rate, murder rate, the nepotism, the cronyism, and the discrimination that is eating away at our ability to deliver the simplest services to which the people are entitled. The overpowering feeling of fear and victimization pervading the society. The alienation of our youths and young people. And do you know what? We, the people, can do nothing about it. Do you know why? Because the Constitution has provided for a system of governance that takes power out of the hands of the people and put that power in the hands of an all-powering, an overpowering government. And when I say government, I mean any government, no matter which party wins. If we are to ever get out of this recurring cycle of frustration and backwardness, we must change the Constitution. And we must change it in such a way as to give power to the people over the government, whoever and whatever forms the government. The constitutional reform of which we speak is one that will deepen our democracy by bringing into Parliament representatives of the widest cross-section of the social, political interests in our country. It will provide for direct representation of workers, farmers, business groups, of our youths, our environmentalists, and so on and so forth. But my brothers and sisters, this cannot happen now because given the demographic distribution of our population, combined with the electoral system of first past the post, our politics has been steeped in racial and ethnic cleavages for over 50 years. The time has come to change that. And that is what this struggle is all about. We are not unaware that there are several vested interests in this society that do not want meaningful change because it will affect the positions of advantage which they now enjoy and which they have enjoyed for years. We expect them to resist any meaningful change. We must not let them get away with that. They had their say, they had their time. Well, it's your time now. We must resist any attempt to let them give us a 6 for a 9. I admit that the high-sounding phrase constitutional reform can be intimidating to most people. But do not be fooled. It is really quite simple. The Constitution, you see, sets up the system, the structure, and the procedures by which the country is governed. That is all. The Constitution must resolve and ought to resolve the problems of our people, the problems which they face in their daily lives. Those problems, you see, change from time to time, and it is therefore necessary for us to amend, reform, update the Constitution from time to time to deal with these new problems and our new circumstances. It follows, therefore, that the first thing to do in reforming the Constitution is to identify the problems the old Constitution is failing to resolve. The report of the Ramada Commission on Constitutional Reform ignores that approach, hence its failure to be relevant and meaningful. It is not our intention to make constitutional experts of all of us. So to begin with, what we shall do is we shall focus on just the most important area of change which we demand, which we must demand, no matter which party we belong to. This is not a party matter. It is a matter of national concern to all of us, and it will determine how we and the generation that follows us will live. The most critical issue that we face today is that once the government is elected, the people have no control over it. And this is because the government controls the parliament, which is supposed to monitor its activities on behalf of the people. The relationship between government and parliament must change so as to give control over the government back to the people, the people's representatives in parliament, who must be elected on the basis of proportional representation. There are two areas of change that must be tackled before all else. Those two areas are the structure of the new parliament and the relationship between the parliament and the government. If we can only achieve these two things, the rest will fall into place. Let us take the parliament first. Now, there is no need for a parliament made up of two houses. We have a parliament of the Senate and the House of Representatives. We are a small nation of a mere 1.3 million people. Why do we need a Senate? What is the purpose in today's political milieu of a Senate? Why not a unicameral parliament of one house only, called the House of Representatives, made up of 100 members elected on the basis of proportional representation? In that way, interest groups of workers, farmers, business groups will have their representatives in Parliament looking after their interests on national matters from day to day. The primary function of Parliament will be then to make laws in the national interest, approve the national budget, and to act as a watchdog over the activities of the government from day to day. Parliament will also scrutinize and approve the appointment of certain persons to sensitive posts, including appointments to state boards. Well, I suppose that will include all these false certificates that have been floating around. A parliament of the size I speak of 100 people, will have the necessary manpower to establish investigating committees with power to summon ministers and other government officials to account for their actions. Members of Parliament will have much work to do. They must therefore be full-time. Only then should their salaries and conditions of work be determined. They will not have a constituency to look after. The function of representation at the local level will be dealt with by the reform of the local government system. The second major change that we must have is the need to separate and define the powers, functions, and relationship between the government and the Parliament. The government must not come from the Parliament. The head of government should be elected by a separate election, an election of the entire electorate on the basis of one man, one vote. The head of government then becomes the head of state. We have at present a head of state and a head of government. There is no need for both a president and a prime minister, one being the head of state and the other being the head of government. The head of government then chooses his or her cabinet from people who, in his or her opinion, are best suited to run the country for the next 5 years. No member of Parliament should also be a minister. On the next occasion, we shall further examine the report of the Ramadan Commission on Constitutional Reform. But I must take some time off to keep a promise I made to you on the last occasion. As I stated on the last occasion, I believe that leaders of tomorrow are the youths of our nation and should therefore be an integral part of the discussion on constitutional reform. We have had 2 youths on this program so far. Tonight we invited another young person to participate in our discussion. She's a young lady who is the National Youth Awards winner of 2013 for social action and civil engagement. She is the Chief Executive Officer of an NGO called Give Youth a Chance. This is a non-governmental organization that seeks to give expression to the voices of youths. This NGO is currently doing a national secondary schools tour on self-determination. She's a motivational speaker and an advocate for youths on the issue of child abuse. She did research and wrote a book on the tragedy of Akil Chambers. The book will soon be out. She was a Nallis Author Awardee in 2012 for her book entitled Revelation Awakes Us, and is currently a student at COSTAT pursuing a degree in journalism and PR, public relations that is. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, our guests for tonight is Miss Lauren Joseph. How shall I refer to you, my dear, as Lauren Joseph, Miss Joseph? How shall I refer to you?
Miss Lauren Joseph.
Miss Lauren Joseph. Okay, Miss Lauren Joseph, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure, yes.
Now, I see that you are the Chief Executive Officer of an NGO called Give Youth a Chance. Okay? What is the chance you want to give youth?
Well, we want to be able to voice the opinion and views of young people, for people to be able to listen to young people, for what we realize is that society believes children should be seen and not heard. And in doing this, you shut down the views and opinion of young people. You no longer want to hear what they have to say. So they just exist. And when we want to be heard, many times we are shut down. For instance, with the book Akil Chambers, which I'll present to you now, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
With this manuscript, sir, the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Child Development, we're working together to get the book published. And they made a promise to me as a young person and said that we will work on the book together and make sure it is done. But I was running around, up and down in circles, and as a young person it hurts because I gave off my time. I did investigative work for the ministry.
Yeah.
I did other work for the ministry, and it hurts that when you put out so much that you are shut down, and it's not necessarily the ministers to be blamed, but people in the ministry.
Okay, what you're saying, therefore, is that the system is so constructed that youth doesn't get a chance for self-expression.
Exactly.
That's the point. Now, that being the case, how do you intend to go about achieving this objective of getting for youth a chance?
Well, the objective is to promote empowerment programs.
Okay.
And in promoting empowerment programs, we are not talking about one facilitator discussing with 30 young people. We are discussing a one-on-one mentorship where you take a young person, from any part of the nation. This goes out to businessmen, this goes out to politicians. If you really say you care for us, take one young person, adopt them into your home, give them 5 years or more, and grow them, groom them, show them the right way, how to eat with a knife and fork, how to care about themselves, how to love themselves, respect themselves, value themselves, and know their worth.
Right.
And we're asking that if you really care about us, mentor us, and don't just use us and abuse us.
Sure. Now, I understand that. So what you're saying is, the response you are getting is so poor that it makes you frustrated.
Yes.
You're getting run around and you're frustrated.
Yes.
So don't you think then it will be better for youth if the youth had a direct say in how the country is being run?
Precisely correct. Because, in my opinion, let's look, for example, at YTEP or MOS program or CCC. A lot of the time, people said they are doing things on behalf of young people without consulting in young people. And you cannot do something without consulting in us, because if you said it is for us, then you must consult in us.
Sure.
So we can guide you on what we want. So therefore, I believe that we should have a direct say, since we are the future leaders.
Sure. Now, if the system does not give you that opportunity to be directly involved, do you think we should change the system?
We should.
Now, what do you think of the idea of having a parliament in which the youths go into the parliament on their own strength, not on the strength of any political party, but the youth as an organization, as a national organization, get together and said, we want members in parliament so that when we ask for things and we don't get them done, we can call the minister before this parliament and we can question them in public. What do you think of a system like that?
I totally agree. That's where we have more say, our views and opinion is actually taken seriously, because they have to listen to us. For example, so as we discussed about leadership, I'm the National Youth Award winner 2013.
Yeah, congratulations.
And thank you again, sir. And my prize was finance, but there wasn't any empowerment position. And I believe as a young person and representing young people as a form of National Youth Award, we should have empowerment position for young people, just as you said, rightfully said, that we should be in parliament. I believe that youth development should be run by a young person.
And you see, I don't know how much of the present system you have studied, but you see, under the present system, the youths cannot get into parliament on their own. They have to depend on a political party. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they have to toe party line.
Mm-hmm. That's where you have the youth arm.
Exactly. They have a youth arm, but the purpose of the youth arm is to wave flag and bring out people at meetings and so on.
Exactly. They have no power. They have no power, and it comes like they are being used for political benefit.
Exactly. Exactly. And therefore, the only way out of that is that the youth must be empowered. They must get the power on their own. They must have to depend upon a political party. They must go into that parliament on their own.
And I fully 110% agree, sir, because if we have the opportunity to have a great say in parliament, then we will be empowered and get the things that we want to see done happen.
But you see, under the present position, you can't get into parliament.
No, you can't.
Because the parliament is dominated by two political parties. Mm-hmm. And you have to belong to one of them in order to get into the parliament. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the youth is really cornered, so to speak. The youth is a tool, an instrument. And the only way is that we have to break that system. We have to have a system of proportional representation where the young people say, we are going into Parliament as youths on our own strength and on our own terms.
I agree, sir.
And that's what I'm saying, not only the youths. That has to happen all over the society. The businessman must say, we are going in on our own terms. The environmentalist must say that. The workers must say, we are going in on our own terms. And beg your pardon. And so do the farmers, you see? And that is the kind of system that we really want to have in the country. It will make the country very democratic.
Right, because that way you have everyone's opinion and views being heard.
Right.
You have the farmer being represented in Parliament, you have the businessman, you have everyone, the youth, everyone being heard. So you don't have to depend on anyone because there is a holistic Parliament. You have the normal person in Parliament also, so everybody views and opinion is finally reached.
If we get such a system, being a youth myself, I will vote for you. But for the time being, let us take a break and we'll come back. And when we come back, we'll continue this discussion, okay?